So you ask a good question around collaboration. I actually will admit that collaboration has been one of the frustrations of my life when it comes to my working life, and actually one of the reasons that we set up Spatial Advisors, of the many reasons, was to improve collaboration. I think that collaboration is a critical part of business success, but too often collaboration is um, done wrongly. I'll give you an example. I won't use the guy's name, but I was I was working with an organization to help them be more collaborative. It was one of the things that was brought up in one of the company feedback sessions where there wasn't enough collaboration. So I was on the fly on the wall with a session, and Mike was running this collaborative session. And Mike had just been made up to a more leadership position. His background was very technical. He was seen as a sort of an important person in the organization, so they promoted him. So he set up these collaborative sessions. Really, it was around evolution of what the company was doing. They're a service company. They wanted to start building products and getting more involved in some of the new technologies. So again, I was a fly on the wall. I watched the sessions, and it was interesting to see how one dominant personality, and that was Mike, really took over the whole conversation. It was really less of a collaborative session. It was much more of a Mike talking about what he wanted to do, with some input from the group, but not very much. In fact, there was frustration within the group that it was really not a decision that was collective. It was a decision that was Mike's decision. He even pulled somebody in the group aside and said, who had questioned one of the things he was wanting to do, and told that person that he was in a leadership position, so they just need to listen. So it wasn't really a collaborative. It was more one more senior person taking over the conversation and pushing it down the path he wanted to. So what does collaboration really look like? I think I take this from Stuart, who I was talking to a couple of weeks ago. It's about information symmetry. That's the terminology he used. So how do you bring everyone together and really pull out the best of the group? So I mean, if you're in a session, I think it's really important in collaboration, certainly the way that we do it as Spatial Advisors, you really need to be in the room together. That's number one. And that's an important part. Actually seeing body language, all of those things is important. Having a whiteboard is also important. It's no good individual note taking. You need a whiteboard where you're drawing pictures. It's really a session where everyone's inputting to this single interface, if you like, which is the whiteboard. So those are two important parts. I think you have to have a lead in the group, not someone that's going to lead the conversation, someone that's going to guide the conversation, someone that's going to sort of make sure all voices are heard, make sure that the points are being summarized properly. Even likely that's the lead, is the person that's drawing the pictures on the board. So that's an important part of it. I think that the whole notion of collaboration can have different goals. The goal I mentioned in the session I sat in was with Mike, was they were trying to build new parts of the business, and again, innovation is all about create new value, and that was really the thrust of that. Not all collaborative sessions are necessarily that, but in general, you need to have the right collection of people in the room. And that can be junior people, more senior people from different backgrounds. This is kind of a design thinking approach where one takes that group together, allows everyone to have input, and everyone's on the same page in terms of the symmetry, the information symmetry. And often the things that are drawn on those whiteboards stay, and people come back to them. Maybe people add to them. Maybe it becomes a part of another session. So I think that if you're going to get things done and be collaborative, and I think that there's massive value in collaboration, because again, you're bringing synergy between folks in a room. You're bringing different thoughts and processes. Imagination and creativity really flow in those situations, whether it be creating a new product or solution, or whether it's just trying to problem solve things that you've got going in the organization. Again, I can't talk loudly enough about how I feel the importance of collaboration. But I also would add to that, I very rarely have I seen very solid collaborative sessions. And again, one of my goals in some of the work that I do is to make sure that Mike understands his place in that group and doesn't dominate and want to be the loudest person in the room. So it's a very gentle process, collaboration, but absolutely critical, I would say.